Hello, 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 and welcome. How are we all doing tonight, chat? Chat, let me know. I know we had some mic issues last week. Let me know how that is sounding this week. My little meter's looking pretty good today. Yep, I should have taken care of the echo there. Thank you, Lacey. Appreciate that. Here and see, this is wonderful. Good, good, good. All right. Hello and welcome. Episode 7 tonight of Across the Board. I'm your host, MJ, and tonight I will be talking all about updates to my website, of which there have been a lot. And also, for the very first time, I am live on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. Thinking of eventually switching over to Kick. If you'd like to drop me a follow there, it is kick.com/MJ-gaming-network. So go ahead and check that out. I've got chat open. I've got 3 chat screens right now. I've got my bot going. I've got Twitch, YouTube, and Kick all over here. So if I'm looking away, chat, I'm not ignoring you. I'm trying to make sure I get to everyone tonight. So before we get started talking about those tools, a few things. Everything here tonight is presented for education and entertainment purposes only. Nothing is financial advice. Web3 games are subject to change at any moment's notice. So please, if you decide to spend your hard-earned money, plan accordingly. Shout out to some new followers over on Kick. I have 3 so far. We've got Watcher, who just stopped in. Hey, Watcher, how you doing tonight? Watcher's here just for the financial advice. Well, I'm sorry about that, Watcher, but appreciate you stopping in. 2 other big things before we start talking about the tools, in which I will be doing a very comprehensive deep dive. One is that breeding is finally open. So chat, if you are breeding, let me know. Who did you retire? Why did you choose to retire them? I'd be really curious to hear that. And how breeding is going for you. Is it kind of what you expected? Is it not going how you thought it would? Let me know. Also throwing in chat right here, this is the YouTube link to my AMA, breeding AMA with Ian from last week, maybe 2 weeks ago now. Time has been flying. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. And then another very, very big announcement from the team is the virtual Kentucky Derby, which I just threw up on my screen. The first running of the Photo Finish Live Virtual Kentucky Derby to take place July 1st at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 6 p.m. Central, where I'm located. So this is a part of their multi-year partnership with Churchill Downs. Super excited. Looks sick. You've got 80,000 Derby on the line for this race, as well as having your name forever etched on the blockchain with a trophy, one-of-one digital collectible, which I think would be pretty sweet to have one day. Then they go to talk about how Churchill Downs is entering 3D, partnership with Photo Finish, and you can find this on YouTube and Twitch. So it's youtube.com/@PFLive or twitch.tv/thirdtimeinc. If you'd like to read the full article, I will throw it in chat for you right now. Oh man, I'm already getting my head spinning. I'm getting a little dizzy going back and forth between the chats. High Octane says, do I really need to tell you who I retired? I don't know, High Octane. I don't think you said it enough when we were getting ready, warming up. So please continue to do so. Lacey says, every member of Discord knows who you retired. LOL. You are an SS++ at advertising. Love that. Love that. Switching over here to Kick Chat. Watcher says, retired all my fillies. So many good studs on the market, so cheap. It's a woman's world right now. Love that. Love that. All right. It looks like, okay, Facebook's looking good too. All right. Got all the chats taken care of. Let's start talking tools, chat, because there have been a lot of changes to my website. And I'm going to go through each one. I'm going to show you how I think of them. I'm going to show you what pieces and things to consider when you're looking at them yourself. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be deep. It's going to be kind of technical, but it's going to be fun. Octane says, my wife will tell you it's always been a woman's world. That's, yeah, always been a woman's world. Can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong with that. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's jump in. So the first tool that I wanted to discuss tonight is the horsepower. And I'm going to throw that in here for everyone to take a look at. So a lot of changes here on horsepower. This has kind of the biggest, I'll say, not facelift, but this had the most changes to it of any of my tools. So with horsepower, this is all about horse analysis. And it preloads with my horse Hakanai in here. One, because I think it's kind of a good horse to talk about. But before we talk about how I evaluate Hakanai and maybe what I'd consider for other horses, I first want to walk through some of the changes that were made. So the first one being that the horse grade diff is now called competition. And the description of that has been reworded for clarity. So it says right here, competition was previously named, or grade diff rating. Competition assigns each horse a numerical value based on its grade. SSS plus is 21, D is 1. And a boost, 0 to 0.75 based on boost level. A boost of 3 equals 0.75. A rating of 1 implies your horse is roughly 1 grade higher than its competitors, while negative 0.5 suggests it's half a grade worse. Higher ratings indicate your horse ran against fields that it was stronger on paper and doesn't actually factor in performance in any way. So basically what it does is it just looks at grade comparisons. Now, that's okay, but when you think about, all the different handicaps and weighting changes that come into play, I think it's an interesting thing to look at, but it's not necessarily a make or break factor when thinking about your horse's performance. That's why it's listed under experimental features. Next change that we have is, by default, the run correctly filter up top here, right next to the horse name, is set to true. Just trying to keep the data as clean as possible. So if you want to look at all your races, or you're using this tool and you say, hey, why am I not seeing all of my races? Where are they? It's probably because this is true. The other thing to look at, which is new, is right next to this, which is your race date slider. So if you want to look at specific races, you want to see how your horse has run over time, this will allow you to do that. All you have to do is simply drag the slider. I probably should have gone backwards for this, but we see we have 9 total races there. Now we have 2. And we'll go ahead and switch that back. We'll jump down to the bottom in a minute. Got a little ahead of myself there. The next change is the view on PFL. So if you want to take a look at your horse, all you have to do is click on Click Me, and you'll see this window pop up that will say View Horse. When you click that window, the link to the horse will come up, and you can view the horse's performance right here. Hakanai in the past few weeks had some decent performance. 3rd out of 6, a nice 1 out of 12, and then a 5th out of 8, which was rough. Going back to horsepower and changes. So going down now to this distance section right here. This is probably the biggest change, in my opinion, to the tool since I first released it. What's changed now, or what happened before, was the distances were ordered from smallest to largest. Now, if you notice, that is not the case. 10, 11, 9, 7, 12. What I have implemented is a calculation running kind of behind the scenes that now serves as a sorting feature for your distances. I want this tool of horsepower to show every piece of information you could ever need about a horse performance, and then allow you to put the pieces together quickly in order to determine how you should be running or not running your horse. Every horse is very different, so you've got to kind of put the pieces together yourself. That being said, I want to try and be able to allow you to make decisions faster. So that's why I implemented this auto sort running in the background. And it basically just looks at a handful of performance data from your horse and then sorts the distances based on where it thinks your horse should run. Now, asterisk on this. 1, it's very experimental. 2, it is not an absolute, but a guide for you. Definitely take it all in. Don't just take the top distance that's listed and say, hey, this is absolutely where I should be running my horse. No, not necessarily the case. Think of it as just a way to look through things a little faster. It's sorted for you based off of a best guess. Obviously, sample size matters a lot. So if you are going to have maybe 2 or 3 races, you run 3 or 4 more at that distance, the sort could completely change. So keep in mind that this is very flexible. I like to describe it as a guide rail as to where you should or maybe shouldn't be running. Next change down here on the races themselves. If you click a race, you can actually view that whole race, much like the click me or view on PFL click me button. Give this a second. You just click this view race right here, and it will pull up the race for you, which you can then review and look at right on the PFL site. Next update is down here at the bottom is the combination of fleet figure and finish percent in a single graph. I think it makes a little bit more sense to look at them together. I don't think it necessarily complicates things or becomes too crowded. Keep in mind that these red bars are your finish percents by distance, and then this teal line is your fleet figure, average fleet figure by distance. So why finish percent and not place? Because I think it helps to better account for smaller fields and better understand distance preference as well. And then these numbers on top are the number of races that you've run at each one of those distances. So I've had some success. I won that 10 furlong race with Hawkeye, and I want to kind of walk through now how I got to that determination and how I made that decision. So I've got my horse in here already. I know it's run correctly. That's set to true. I have all dates in here from my horse. I'm going to look at my horse ticket now just because this is a Gen 0 and I want to look at, the boosts and see how all of that is looking. So I can see, okay, it's a profitable horse, so I'm doing something right. The win play show is not bad. So I see direction, surface condition, all pretty solid. 3, 3, 2.5. No start. Speed, stamina, finish, heart, and temper boosts, all extremely high. Temper 2 out of 3. So to me, this is saying, hey, this is probably a distance runner, or at least like mid to late distance runner. So I've got that idea in my head already just by looking at that. I don't have to go to any other site, any other page. I get the gist of that right here. Coming down now to this distance pref, I see, okay, well, 10 and 11 are the top 2 listed. Let's take a look at both of those. Not many races. I'm a little behind on competition. Some higher fields, 7 and 10 versus this one at 4, which may help Hart, possibly. I don't know. Position is not bad. Average position. Average finish percentage, very good comparatively to the other ones. Win percent. These are the only 2 distances where I've actually won. I'm going to jump over to win place show. I see my speed. So I'm running a little fast at 11, not so much at 10. Fleet figures are pretty high, and I've been profitable at both of these distances. So I like 10 and 11. If I want to get a little more granular, I can look at these individual races down here. But I'm going to kind of skip over this section, and I'm going to head right down here. So I can see just visually looking at this that as we kind of increase in distance outside of this 12, but there's only one race at 12. So I'm still open to running 12 just to get a little bit more data. And again, these sample sizes are not big by any means. But hey, something's saying with these 2 being the lowest, the sweet spot being, 25% and under would be incredible. But both of these are under 50, under 40 even. So I like 10 and 11. The fleet figures aren't necessarily the highest, but they're up there, 66 to 68. 62 was not very good, and that also has worse performance. Okay, so I'm putting together, I've got some boosts over here that seem to make sense. I've got 2 distances that are more profitable than the others I've only ever ever won. I was looking at WPS, and it kind of also aligns with the distances down here. So I'm getting mid-high distance. That same kind of guess is supported here, and then it's further supported down here. So that's why when I race Hakanai, those are the distances that I'm considering, that I am looking at. Chat, any questions on this so far? We'll get to do some reviews later on in the stream, and talk about maybe different things that we would look at. So keep in mind, if you want me to take a look at a horse, more than happy to do so. But I would like to now go to the second tool, which I announced through a riddle on Twitter. Mo, if you follow Mo Knows, whose music we featured in the intro of the stream, he's been using this a lot. He's having a lot of fun with it. Latuda, he and I had a lot of fun with it on one of his streams. So we're going to go into that right now, after I sip that delicious, delicious liquid death. All right. So tool number 2 is horsepower comparison. So think of this as kind of a light version of horsepower. And you're going to open it up and it's going to be extremely boring because there's nothing in here. That is okay. So what this is meant to do is to get kind of a light or easy view of a field of horses and look at a bunch of horses at a time. So if I want to look at Hakanai, I want to look at Sunday. Oh, I don't know. Okay, yep, Sunday Silence. Didn't know how to spell silence. Boom. I can find it, click off. So if I just want to look at these two horses kind of side by side, I can look at their grade, their track preference, all their boosts, their number of races, the competition, their average weight that they've raced at, average position, speed diff, win, place, show. And when you mouse over win, place, show, it's going to show you the number of wins, the number of places, and the number of shows, which I think is pretty cool. Shout out to Mo for that suggestion. Your average fleet figures, and then your profit and profit per race. So this is almost kind of like a racing guide, if you will. You can then dial in distances. So I want to take this slider. Let's look at, 8 furlongs. And see, okay, well, Sunday Silence probably is not a distance runner. So we'll take off the top end. We'll go from 9 down. And you can see this will all update. You can adjust the field size. So maybe I only want to look at 6+ horse races. And you see the races will change there. You can also specify the track type that was run on. So if I want to, let's just go right and left turf fast. And as you do this, all of these stats will update. So you can get kind of a side-by-side comparison of horses. You can see Hakanai is horrible, where Sunday Silence still continue to perform pretty well. You can also filter race types. Okay, so let's say, like, this is all fun, but what other use cases are there for this tool? Well, the big one is, let's go to a race right now. Let's go to races. Let's see what we have upcoming. Coming soon, 6 minutes. This Gold Rush allowance. Okay, so we have Spa City, Bugs Bunny, Brioche. I'm not going to say that fancy chocolate. I'm going to butcher all of these names. We got 8 horses right here. Now, for me to manually type in 8 horse names into this tool would be somewhat time consuming. And this was a cool little trick that Mo found, so shout out to Mo. All you have to do is directly on this race page, start with the first name, select everything going down until you get the last name, Control C, go back to the tool. Over here where it says horses, Control V, and it's going to throw in a bunch of extra stuff in there, but it's going to ignore all of that, and it's going to throw in all of the horses at once. So you can immediately look at and evaluate a full race field. So if you are interested in doing wagering, this could be an interesting use case because it will allow you to look at stats of a field very quickly and very easily. So if we look at this race, this is a Gold Rush allowance, 5 furlong left, dirt, good. All right, so first let's left dirt good, so that will be fast LDF. So let's get rid of the turf fields out of here. And let's do left dirt fast. And then let's, how many furlongs was this? This was 5. So instead of clicking and dragging, you can also just click in the box and type a number. We'll see how many of these horses have actually run. Okay. Looks like a lot of them. And I'm gonna leave that there for now. And I'm gonna take a look at some of these horses and think, like, let's take a look and see. We've got 4 minutes 42 seconds left. How this race could pan out. Well, okay, I'm seeing 16, 18, 20, definitely some weight changes. That makes sense because we're seeing these different grades here. Let's take a look at the speed diff for these horses. And all I have to do is just click one of these fields and it will auto sort. So that simple click and we're already going from fastest speed diff to slowest. So Brioche, B+, seems to be the fastest with these preferences. 37.89. What kind of race is this? Is this a requirements? Okay, so yeah, B+ isn't going to be changed much. 40% win place show, 1-4, showed twice. Pretty consistent, 5-5-6, profitable. In fact, looks like the only horse to be profitable here. Across 15 races, average position of 5. So, like, I don't know, depending on how I look at it. Do I put value in the speed? Do I put value in the position? Do I put value in competition? Do I put value in total boosts? So this is one of, 4 B+? Of them is the fastest. Let's look at average position for these types of races. Excuse me, chat. And that's not the order we want. So, Mohenio Daro, if I'm saying that correctly, seems to be doing the best. Race is usually a little better, and we can see, okay, that's because they're a high boost horse. That would make sense. Only 2 races. Average position second. Running faster, 37.64. Where is Mohenio in the overall speed? Let's resort by just speed in general. Not good. Not good. But very interesting. Very, very interesting. Speed def, let's take a look at that. Oh, I clicked it instead of sorted it. So its speed is kind of like in the middle-ish. We look at win, place, show. Killing it. 100%. Two races. It's done very well. And it seems to be, look at this. So across these 2 races, it's averaging 4.32. So I'm getting, it seems to close a little bit as the race goes on. It is profitable. Let's take a look at the odds. So we liked Brioche. We liked Mohenio. So if I were to look at this and maybe consider putting a wager down, I see Brioche has 4.7. Mohenio has 7. I might consider personally for me, again, not financial advice, but this is interesting to me. It's, 7 odds, not the best, definitely not the worst, but has run decently. So I'd be really curious to see. We've got 1 minute 30 seconds. Chat, if you are, I'll throw this race in chat. If you want to take a look at it along with me, feel free to do so. High Octane, glad you like it. Play around with it. I'm not saying you have to wager, not asking you to wager, but just let me know what you think. Again, go to the race page, click and drag all of the names in. It'll filter out all of the things that aren't horse names, and you can very quickly and easily take a look. I have way too much fun with this, but I think we're gonna watch this one live. Let's see how Mohenio and Brioche do. This will be very, very interesting. Chat, any thoughts on this race? Let me know. So again, it's just, it allows you to, at a very high level for Gen 0 horses, look at and compare the different performance metrics that they may have, and easily sort between them. Let's see. High Octane says, I'll take brioche. Let's see, checking the other chats quick. All right, all good. They're got everyone taken care of. I'm not going to play the audio because I don't want to blow your ears out, chat. But let's take a look at this race. I would like if I were to bet, I would, I'd feel comfortable maybe doing a Mohenio show. How big is this field, though? Is this only like 6 or 7 horses? Maybe not. Oh, no. Looks like 8, maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9. It'll be a nice quick one. 8. So we've got Mohenio in 4 in yellow, and brioche is 3. And let's see if we'll cut back, but will Mohenio close in this race? Brioche is sprinting ahead, taking it. Already 2 furlongs in. Mohenio's falling apart. I don't think Mohenio has it. I don't think Mohenio has enough. Here we go. Final. Wow, this is going to be close, chat. This is going to be close, chat. Mohenio got 3rd. Belgium got 1st. Spa City 2nd. Let's take a look at that. Belgium. We've got a 2nd here from WPES. A little bit faster. Not profitable. Has run 4 races. Position 3.75. Not bad. So if we sort by average position, Belgium ended up winning. So a lot of different ways to slice this. Belgium wasn't even on my board. Wasn't even thinking about it. I was too focused on brioche and Mohenio. But Belgium played up there. If we looked at the speed, we looked at profit. You can slice this in a million different ways. And there isn't, I guess what I'm trying to say is there isn't one way to do it. But I've had so much fun looking at races, bringing in fields, trying to take a look at them. And it's been such a blast to do that. So chat, check it out. Let me know what you think. Again, quickly and easily look at horses and compare their stats. High Octane says, I'll take brioche. Brioche is stalking. No and no. Sorry about that, High Octane. All right, so finally, this is the big reveal. This is brand new tonight. This has not been shown on any streams. This final tool of the evening is the breed barn, chat. This is the breed barn. So a few things about this. This is very early, and this is going to change over time. I think this is going to evolve a lot. So think of this as like a super beta tool. Okay. Links in chat for those of you to check it out. Instructions are up top here. So start by entering a mare. I'll change that after the stream. Or filly. And then use the filters below to narrow down your list of potential studs. Enter the stud's name, one only in the breeding pair field. Compare horse stats and distance preferences. You can go directly to the breed page by clicking on a stud's name, then clicking on the link breed with stud. So starting off here, we've got the first horse of Steph's Kiss. This is a horse from Mo Knows. And you can also do the track pref match. That here is set to all, not set to true. Just for a more complete picture when looking at this. You're going to see the sire name, so the stud, the filly, the horse name, grade, preference, their stats, post-retirement. If the horse hasn't retired, you can still enter the horse here. all of these will just show null. And then number of races, best fleet figure, average fleet figure, win, place, show, max speed, speed, sorry, max speed, profit per race, total boosts, and attribute matches. Then if we go down here to the what is this? Sorry, I just had a little technical difficulty there. The kick stream dropped, but we're back up. We're going to ignore this stuff for now, but we're going to look here. So this is that same chart from horsepower that is going to show you the horse's finish position, average finish position, number of races being the white numbers above the red bars by distance, as well as the horse fleet figures by distance. Now, this is going to become important later. So now you're going to take this and you're going to pair. So I get my picture of my horse up here, right? Here's my mare, my filly. I've got the name in. I'm looking, okay, at some distances here. What's standing out? Maybe, 6, 7. Maybe 8, only one race, 9. But there's definitely kind of a dip here, and we're seeing a big spike in fleet figure. So I'm kind of liking this middle-ish distance right here for her. And so now we're going to go to the actual stud barn itself. So I see that the grade for Steph's Kiss is in A. So I want to go a little higher if I were breeding. And this is all hypothetical, right? So the ordering's weird because alphabets with the S and the A, I'll be working on a custom sort. But I want to go higher than A. I want to breed up in terms of grade. So I'm going to uncheck A minus, B. Give it a minute. B minus, B plus. We'll keep all the S's. All right, so just drop down, make the selections you want there, and all this will update. Now, track preference, I want to match this. So I see this as LTS. I want to keep with LTS. So I'm going to make that selection there. And boom, you can see immediately that this list shrinks massively. My breeding price is, set to I want to cut this down a little bit. So I'm just going to type it in. I'm going to say I want to spend no more than 20,000 Derby. This is all hypothetical. And the total boosts, I want at least, 15 from this horse. So it's going to further narrow things down for me. So now I've got a much more manageable list to look at, much more manageable to digest. So, okay, great question from High Octane Racing before I continue on. High Octane says, I don't understand the definition of average finish position. What is that meaning? Okay, so finish position is the percentage of your place in that race. For example, I know that definition was absolutely atrocious. But let's say I'm running a 4-horse race, okay? And I end up finishing in second. My finish percent would be 50%. 2 out of 4, 50%, right? Now, if I run a 12-horse race and I finish in in a 4-horse race, that's 50%. That is a second place finish, but it's only second out of 2. It's not necessarily as strong, in my opinion, as running in a 12-horse race where, obviously 6 isn't great, but if I run a 25 in a 12-horse race, that's 4th or better, right? So you want to look at the lower number, the better. And it's my way of trying to balance out larger and smaller fields. Maybe a better analogy would be 25%. If I finish 25% in a 4-horse race, it's not the same as finishing 25% of the field. A first in a 4 versus a first in a 12, completely different races. So that's why we're looking at percent instead of the actual number of where they're finishing. So your target, when I talk about that, is 25% or better that you want to try and aim for. High Octane, let me know if that makes more sense or if that helps. So going back to this field, I've narrowed things down, and I'm seeing some horses here. And just for grins, I say, okay, well, here's an A plus. Maybe I want to sort again. The grade sort wouldn't necessarily be the best, but I can sort here by price, and we'll just flip that. So I see right here that, let's take a look. Neptune is, well, let's look at Dracula. Let's look at Dracula. 4,800 breeding fee, 20 races. So I'm going to go back up top here. I'm going to type in Dracula. And I'm going to look at this horse now. So now something is going to jump out at me. Two things are going to jump out at me. One, these horses, it will now show you that these horses share the same sire. And this check right here over the breed performance data is saying, yep, this is a valid breed, meaning you're breeding a male and female horse. But these horses are in fact related because they have the same sire in Styler Stud 9924. So immediately, I don't want to do inbreeding. I'm going to take Dracula off this list. I'm going to now take a look at, let's try Neptune. Type in Neptune. Okay, I see these are all different numbers. These aren't connected. My check right here is saying, hey, this is a valid breed, and these horses are not related. So I can continue to kind of look at this and move forward. So going back to your question quickly, High Octane, 25% or lower, meaning the top 25% of the field. 0 to 25%. In theory, you can't finish 0, but the 25 or below would be fantastic. So now I can, going back to this comparison, I see they're not related. Grade A plus and A. Okay, cool. That's an upgrade for me there. Both are LTS. Both same finish, start, speed, an improvement in stamina and heart, and a big improvement in temper. So I can quickly just kind of eyeball these stat comparisons. And then I can also look at the race data. So races, best fleet figure, win, play, show percent, speed. I can see, Neptune a little slower, but very, very profitable. 3 attribute matches. So that's possibly going to be the sign of a stronger horse. All right, perfect. High Octane got it. Great. And then I'm going to go down here. And so now this chart is going to change. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mouse over these distances. And I didn't like these first few. But when you mouse over it, you're going to see the horse name. So we're going to see distance, number of races. Okay, so here's Steph's Kiss. Well, when it shows up as a star, that means that those horses overlap. And they've both run here. So you're going to get an average of both of their performances and races right here. So I'm noticing a lot in this middle-ish range. That kind of lines up. We've got some fleet figures. Maybe Neptune is a little bit on the higher end compared to Steph's Kiss, but there's definitely some overlap here and definitely not performing well at the super long distances. So not well super short, not well super long. I may think, hey, this could be a breed that I would be interested in. I get all the comparisons up here in terms of their breed stats. I can look at performance data. I've narrowed down my list. Great. So what is my next step? Well, to go down then right here, I like Neptune. All I have to do is click Neptune's name. And there is a link that pops up. You can view the horse or you can breed with stud. I'm going to hit breed with stud. And you are right on the breeding page, ready to go. Select your mare, and you can breed immediately. So chat, let me know any questions on Breed Barn, any of the tools we talked about tonight. If you'd want to take a look at a horse, or maybe even look at some breeds, let me know. We can definitely do that. That is not a problem at all. I just want to do a quick circle back to all of the various chat feeds quick, make sure I'm not missing anyone. But yes, please, if you have any questions, clarifications, horses you want reviewed for breeding to be discussed, or you want horses or even fields to be reviewed or talked about, Does it show number of siblings? It does not right now, but that's definitely something that can be added. Great question, High Octane. I like that a lot. I really like that a lot. Because I think that would be really important for the future. So let me see what I can do in terms of that. Like I said, this is very early, very beta. It's going to change frequently. It's going to change a lot. Maybe not so much this upcoming weekend with the holiday, but definitely look for updates to that. I love number of siblings. That is a great, great suggestion. Checking the various chats. I'm not seeing anything. So chat, if you have no other questions, I think we'll wrap up for tonight, but feel free to throw a horse, race, or breed in there. We can talk about it. Happy to review, look at the different pieces of the puzzle, so to speak. Otherwise, all links are live. MJinformatics.com. Check it out. And I will see you all next Tuesday. Thank you for showing up on Wednesday. Appreciate that, Trailblazer Racing. And welcome, first time at Chatter. Happy to have you here. I will see you next week. Watcher, we got a question over on Kick from Watcher. Valid breeds. What if it's not a valid breed? Well, you can still enter it in the tool. It will just say not valid. Thank you, High Octane. Appreciate that a lot. So yeah, so look at that. The two things you want to look at for that, High Octane, are the valid breed and then not related. These are very, very important. You can still enter in, another horse. You can even enter in 3, but it's just not going to spit it out correctly. It will get messy very quickly for you. So keep it to 2. Click on a horse. It's kind of grayed out here, but there is a little X next to the horse at the very end here that you can kind of use to get rid of it. And all the fields are kind of squished just to show a little better on stream. But definitely check these out. Let me know what you think. And again, they will be changing for sure. Dog equals cat equals monkey equals human. Yes. I'm not following, but I'm just going to say yes to that. D-Hall. All right, chat. Any other last minute questions? High Octane says, lol. All right, cool. We will wrap up tonight. Chat, if you are in the US, enjoy your holiday weekend. Happy 4th to you all. If you're not, everyone, still have a great weekend. And I will see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central. Thank you all for tuning in, and everyone have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, good night. Appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in.